You can't outwork a broken system. If you're listening to this and you want a sustainable health routine that sticks every week, every month, year round, I'm going to share with you 3 things that are an absolute must if you want a sustainable health and fitness routine that manages you every week, every month. I'm going to keep this episode as concise as I possibly can, but at the time of this episode, we're into mid-February. And you might be at that point of the year where you're realizing that you can't always do long, glorified sessions in the gym. You might be traveling, you might have last-minute curveballs, you might have kids keeping you up at night that are impacting your desire to do the perfect session. You might also be realizing that the diet plan or the fixed diet plan doesn't work. I've said it over and over again on social media platforms and many podcasts. It doesn't work, especially when you're 6 weeks into the year or more, which we are now. Okay? So I'm going to share with you 3 things that I believe are absolutely essential at giving you a more effective health and fitness routine so you're never off it. If you don't like feeling good when you are off it with any single aspect of your health and your habits towards great health, this episode is for you. 3 things you must have. The first one, you need a minimum effective dose. You need to be crystal clear, even on the worst week where your calendar is jam-packed. You've got flights that are cancelled, travel situations that have cropped up, business meetings you couldn't get out of, family demands. You need, even on the worst week, a minimum effective dose of non-negotiables that you just will not renegotiate with. What do I mean? I'll give you an example of something I shared with one of my private clients the other day who has a couple of kids. He had a massive curveball at work. He also had to go to hospital for a freak accident. And me just telling him, just stick to the plan, would be shit coaching. It's not helpful or complementary to his lifestyle on that given week. This is what I said to him. He could still train, but I knew he didn't have the time to train and complete the full session. He could still eat well, but I know he would have been in different situations where he couldn't always eat the same food like he does when he's at home or working from home. I told him this: your workouts. He does 3 weights workouts a week. I said, do 1 intentional work set in all of your workouts. I said, forget the 2 or 3 sets. You haven't got the time and you're going to skim over them and it's going to be half-assed just to tick the box of having 2 to 3 sets. It doesn't work and it's going to stress you out. And great coaching isn't about giving someone more to do, it's making them more effective with what they actually can do. So maybe with your workouts, and this might be a challenge if you're someone who likes doing things perfect, which, as I said in the previous episode, is nonsense. Even on the worst week, can you just get 1 hard work set in your workouts? Not ideal, but it's better than doing nothing. What is the minimum dose of steps that you need to do to make you feel good and keep your weight in a certain place? Is it 8K steps? Is it 10K steps? From my experience, if we're trying to stay lean without starving, 8 to 10K steps across your daily averages is what's needed. Sleep. Even on a disastrous week, Can you sleep for 6 hours? Water, which for me, even on a high pressured week, there's no excuse why you cannot drink 2.5 litres of water every single day. For me, that's the easiest core driver to consistently implement that you shouldn't have to renegotiate with. Then with food, focus every single time you eat. Can I eat protein? And can the majority of my plate be real food? But get clear, because this is going to stand in good stead for the rest of the year. What is the non-negotiables minimum dose that you need to fill your own cup up to keep you performing at your best and feeling at your best, irrelevant of curveballs? Second point, plan ahead. Never leave work or don't end a day without knowing the next day, when am I going to move? When am I going to train? When am I going to eat? What am I going to eat? Simply put, how can you simplify your decision making for the next day? So you're in a proactive place, not a reactive state the next day. If you, even on the most challenging week, don't go to bed without knowing these 3 things, you're relying on hope and willpower and motivation to implement these things and follow through. Now, unless you are literally someone who has got total agency and control over your health habits and you're in fantastic shape, relying on hope and willpower will not work. Most people overeat, drink, or both because they're stressed, they're tired, they're bored, they're overwhelmed at work, they've got a lot on, they might be triggered by a certain conversation, they've not had the outcome they wanted in work that day, maybe had an argument with their partner for good measure. You're going to eat and drink your feelings. So if you can plan ahead the previous day and maybe anticipate potentially a stressful day, you can put better decisions in place, choices in place before they actually happen. You're going to win more days than you lose. You're going to control your habits significantly more doing that than not doing that. Thirdly, embrace consistency and aim for 80% adherence. So many people fail with their health and fitness goals or have lots of bad weeks because they have unrealistic expectations about what they're willing to do versus the outcomes they would love to have. If they can't do something perfect, they don't do it at all. I've done an episode before on the bottleneck of all or nothing in entrepreneurs and high performers in particular, obsessive type A individuals. Aim for 80% adherence every single week. Less but better beats doing nothing. Done beats perfect every single time. So just to recap, if you want to get control over your system and you don't want to be constantly fixing a broken system, do these 3 things. Have a minimum effective dose across your core drivers, your training, your movement, your food, your sleep, your water. Plan ahead. Don't end a day without knowing when am I going to move, when am I going to train, when am I going to eat, what am I going to eat. And thirdly, embrace consistency, not perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. I think it's the biggest excuse in the book for people putting off their goals or prioritizing other things instead of their health and fitness goals. You don't need to stop work to embark on your health journey. You don't need to stop work to manage you and your health. You just need to find a system that you can adhere to every single week that doesn't get in the way of your professional endeavors, your time with your family, but is complementary towards that. And if you need help with that, you know where we are. Built to Last does exactly that. We help our clients, we give them structure, we give them support, and we give them a system that's complementary to their personal, professional, and social lifestyles. There's nothing we can't overcome. As long as someone communicates they're coachable, will transform how they manage themselves, their health, and by default, improve the quality of their life. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time.